Welcome to the Win Streaks preview and prediction of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. Over the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media. That is Twitter at Winstreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinstreak, TheWinstreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. Contact us at soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information about that on our social media page. Top 10 Super Bowl matchup we want to see is now live. If you've never heard of the Win Streak before, please check us out. We do a weekly wrap-up show, me and my co-host Brandon Myers. We talk football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, college football. We just have a blast. It's a really fun show to do, and we hope you check it out and enjoy it. But today I am doing number 24 of my 32 team preview for the upcoming 2017 NFL season is the 2017 Atlanta Falcons. This is Atlanta's 52nd season in the NFL, third season under head coach Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is 19-13 in the regular season as head coach and 2-1 in the playoffs. General manager is Thomas Dimitroff. Owner is Arthur Black. Falcons entered the season as defending NFC champions. Really surprised a lot of people. Everybody had the Falcons doing good, but not that good. The Falcons really surprised a lot of people. Everyone already knows what happened to the Falcons in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and I really feel awful for Falcon fans. That is just awful. As a Jets fan, I thought I understood what misery and pain was until I saw what the Falcons did to their fan base. So I'm not going to dwell on it. It was just an awful Super Bowl loss. But moving on. The Falcons are moving into a new stadium, leaving the Georgia Dome where they played the previous 25 seasons at. The 2016 Falcons surprised a lot of people by going 11-5 in regular season, good for first in the NFC South. Falcons won the NFC South for the first time since 2012 and improved on their 8-8 record from 2015. Falcons defeated the Seahawks 36-20 in the divisional round to advance to the NFC Championship game for the first time since 2012. Of course, in the 2012 championship game, they would lose to Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers. In the NFC Championship game, they defeated the Green Bay Packers 44-21. It wasn't even that close. It was a brutal, ugly game if you were a Packers fan. And made the Super Bowl for the first time in 18 years. Of course, the first time they went, they lost to John Elway's Denver Broncos. Falcons held a 28-3 lead, but would lose to the New England Patriots. The Falcons are the first team to lose a Super Bowl in overtime. Quarterback Matt Ryan was the 2016 NFL MVP. The Falcons had 6 Pro Bowlers, but none played due to the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons have 2 NFC championships, 1998 and 2016, 6 division championships, 4 in the NFC South. Overall, they have 13 playoff appearances, not bad. Forbes ranks the Falcons as the 19th most valuable team in the NFL. My franchise what if for the Atlanta Falcons, I hate to do this, but it can't be avoided. What if the Falcons didn't blow a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl? They would join Eli Manning and the New York Giants as the only other team to beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. They would also avoided embarrassment and the millions of memes making fun of the collapse on the internet. Once again, I feel sorry for the Falcons and especially for the fans because the Falcon players, yeah, you're not getting a Super Bowl ring, but you're getting millions of dollars. So I say millions of dollars kind of eases the pain a little bit. But if you're a diehard fan of any sports team and something like that happens, it's just brutal. It hurts already to lose a Super Bowl, but to lose a Super Bowl like that, it's more salt in the wound. Moving on to hopefully greener pastures. 2017 outlook. Will the Falcons suffer a Super Bowl loss hangover? That's, to me, one of the biggest questions going into this NFL season is what are the Falcons going to be? Are they going to be like the Carolina Panthers and just quietly implode? Or will they kind of be like Tom Brady and the New England Patriots the year before when Tom Brady faced a 4-game suspension and they went back on a revenge tour when Tom Brady got back into the league? I could see either one happening for the Falcons. I hope for Falcon fans that they go on a revenge tour and they start kicking butt and they go back to the Super Bowl. It would be pretty cool. I'm not a Falcons fan, but gosh, after that, I'm pulling for the Falcons. They got to redeem themselves after a brutal loss in the Super Bowl. Everyone remembers the 28-3 blown lead in the Super Bowl, but I feel people have forgot how great this team really is. The Falcons led the league in scoring last season, 33.8 points per game. They should easily rank in the top 10 once again this season. Matt Ryan is a top 10 quarterback, and he's also, like I mentioned before, your 2016 NFL MVP. But the only thing people, sadly for the Falcons, the only thing that people now remember about this team and about this franchise is the 28-3 lead that was blown by the Falcons. Biggest positive change, the Falcons should be deeper on defense, and they will need it in a tough NFC South division. The Buccaneers, I believe they are on the rise. The Panthers are going to bounce back. And you can't sleep on the Saints with Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks. Yeah, that defense is a joke, but they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If McKinley can help Vic Beasley, they could be even better on that side of the ball. So I think that the Atlanta Falcons defense can improve even better than what they were last year. And they still got all the pieces on offense. So this is kind of mind-blowing, but I think the Falcons can be even better this year. And they had the best offense last year. They got veteran defensive tackle Donovan Poe, a good one-year deal for the Falcons. I know I totally butchered his name. Biggest negative change, losing offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan to the San Francisco 49ers. It will take a while for the offense to get back to where it was. That offense was nasty last year. We'll see if Steve Starkowski can keep things going. He has big shoes to fill. Dan Quinn's job is safe. A bad season or another fourth quarter collapse and the Falcons front office might consider a replacement, but Dan Quinn, I think, is a good head coach. He just, sadly, just like with Pete Carroll, people kind of forget how good he is because of the questionable calls made at the end of a Super Bowl. Quinn's challenge will be to keep his team from dwelling on that Super Bowl loss and to have them look forward. Of course, the media is going to be talking about the Falcons' blown Super Bowl lead for probably the whole season, especially when they go up to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. So it's going to be pretty much unavoidable, especially that week. That week is probably going to be hell in the Atlanta Falcons locker room, and I hope they finally get their revenge on the New England Patriots. Just sadly, it's not going to end with Super Bowl rings. The Super Bowl can either break them like it did with the Panthers last year, or it could spark a revenge tour just like the one that Brady went on last season. Preseason schedule: at Miami to play the Dolphins, at Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, and then home for the Cardinals and the Jaguars. Once again, for the Atlanta Falcons, you got to travel south and north. Not really bad. That's the only thing I look about preseason. When I look at my team's preseason schedule, I just want to see, can we travel the least amount? And that's all I want. As long as we don't have to travel too far, then I'm happy with preseason. Falcons regular season game-by-game predictions. Falcons have 5 primetime games this season. Packers on Sunday Night Football. Patriots on Sunday Night Football as well. At Seattle on Monday Night Football. Saints on Thursday Night Football. And at Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. As always, worst case, best case scenario here. September 10th, you open up at Chicago against the Bears. I say best case, worst case, you'll definitely get this win. Trubisky, he could end up, I've been really down on Trubisky. A few of you Bear fans out there have really got on me. Even if Trubisky's good and he wins Rookie of the Year, the Atlanta Falcons are just way, way, way more talented than the Bears. I mean, even I think Bear fans would have to admit that the Falcons are way better than their team. So the Falcons will definitely get that win. If there's one team that's definitely a lock for a win in week one, I say it's the Falcons over the Chicago Bears. September 17th, Packers at home. Worst case, you lose this game. Aaron Rodgers comes back and gets revenge. Best case, I say you can beat the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are a lot harder in Lambeau. They weren't that good of a road team last year, where most of their losses came from last year was on the road. So I think the Falcons can totally beat the Green Bay Packers yet again. I don't think it's going to be a blowout embarrassment like it was in that NFC Championship game, but I believe the Falcons can pull off a win here. September 24th at Detroit. I say worst case, best case. I like the Detroit Lions. I think they're borderline playoff, a wild card NFC playoff team. But I say the Atlanta Falcons are definitely better than the Lions. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it turns into somewhat of a shootout because Matthew Stafford is right up there with Matt Ryan. Both of those guys are really good quarterbacks. So you go into October at worst 2-1, at best you are 3-0. October 1st, Buffalo Bills at home. That is definitely a win. Seeing what they did, getting rid of their best wide receiver. They are not going anywhere this season. So the Atlanta Falcons will beat the Buffalo Bills. Then you have a bye. Then you come back from the bye October 15th. Home again for the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins had some question marks with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill went down. Now you got Jay Cutler in there. That defense is still scary, but Jay Cutler doesn't scare me against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, best case, worst case, will win this game as well. Now, you have the Bills, a bye week, and the Dolphins. Pretty easy so far in October. But then this is the hardest game, maybe of the whole season, but definitely for October. At New England to play the Patriots and try to get revenge. It's really hard to go up to Foxborough and get a win. If any team's going to go into Foxborough and beat the New England Patriots, it's probably the Atlanta Falcons have the best shot here. I just don't see it happening. So worst case, best case, I think that the Atlanta Falcons sadly lose yet again to the Patriots, but I'll be pulling for the Falcons in that game. I think a lot of people want the Falcons to finally get revenge on that Super Bowl collapse. October 29th at New York to play the New York Jets. That is definitely a win. Just like with the Bears, the Jets and the Bears are going to be two of the probably 4 or 5 worst teams in the league. They both could be in the top 3. Hell, one could be one and the other one could be the second worst team in the league. So October is not bad. Home for the Bills and Dolphins, and on the road for the Jets, and the only one that you really have to worry about is at Patriots. So you go into November, at worst you're 5-2, at best you are 6-1. November 5th, at Carolina to play the Carolina Panthers. I say that's going to be a loss. It'd be a close one, but I think the Carolina Panthers are definitely going to bounce back. They were a good team. Last year, they just couldn't get together. 2 years ago, they went 15-1, and I say they'll probably more be closer to the 15-1 team than they were to the 7-9 team that they were last season. November 12th, home for the Dallas Cowboys. I say worst case scenario, you lose this game, a close one. But best case scenario, I think that you beat the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Dallas Cowboys, either Elliott, Dak Prescott, or both of them going to suffer a sophomore slump, and I'm just not big on the Dallas Cowboys this year. November 20th at Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks. It's really hard to play in Seattle. It's been well documented before. So if anybody's going to go and beat the Falcons, or beat the Seahawks, I should say, it would be the Falcons. But I just don't see it happening, so I give you the loss here. November 26th, home for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Worst case scenario, you lose to the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to take a big leap forward. But best case scenario, you beat the Buccaneers in Atlanta. Before we get to December, at the end of November, at worst you are 5-6. At best you are 8-3. December 3rd, home for the Vikings. I say that's a win. There's a lot of question marks about the Vikings that I have. I could easily see them going 11-5 but also I could see them going 5-11. There's a huge question about quarterbacks. Not, Sam Bradford's going to start, but will Bridgewater eventually replace him? Can either one of them stay healthy? There's a lot of question marks there. How the defense is going to look December 7th, home for the Saints. I say that's definitely a win. Drew Brees is a good quarterback, but they have a garbage defense. December 18th at Tampa Bay to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I say worst case scenario, you lose to the Buccaneers yet again. Best case scenario, I think you can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Uh, Tampa Bay, just like last year, they were doing so good, but they kind of folded up at the end, and I could possibly see that happening again. Tampa Bay, out of everybody in the league, they have a lot of high expectation. They're supposed to be the surprise team, sleeper team. I don't know if you can really call it a sleeper team when they're the team that's picked by most to take a step forward and make it into the playoff. Uh, Possibly, like I said, the Buccaneers, and the only other team I can really think that are really being hyped by a bunch of people, including me, is the Tennessee Titans as well. December 24th at New Orleans. I say that's a win. New Orleans always a little bit tougher to play in that dome. But I say the Atlanta Falcons should have really no problem getting that win. It might be close, but I say that they'll definitely beat the New Orleans Saints. And then to finish the regular season, home December 31st against the Carolina Panthers. I say that's also another win, especially the Falcons. I personally think are going to be looking for a first round bye. So, best case scenario, I have the Atlanta Falcons at 13-3. Worst case scenario, I have the Atlanta Falcons at 9-7. My final prediction is 11-5. You have some easy games. Like, let's go through here. You got the Bears. The Lions could possibly be an easy game, but definitely the Bears. The Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins shouldn't be too hard. The Jets and the Bears, like I said, and the Bills are going to be possibly in the top 5 worst teams. The Panthers, who knows what they are. I think the Cowboys are going to take a step back this year. If the Buccaneers don't live up to the hype, then that's 2 games against the Buccaneers right there. Vikings, there's a big question mark. The Saints, they have an awful defense. And really, like I said, the Falcons could dominate that division yet again if the Buccaneers don't live up to the hype and the Panthers continue their downward spiral, because the Saints just don't have the defense to contend for that division against the Atlanta Falcons. The only games that really scare me with the Atlanta Falcons is 1, the Packers, 2, the Patriots, 3, maybe the Lions. I'm so on the Lions, and 2 Buccaneers games, and the Seahawks. Really, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Patriots, and like I mentioned before, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to go 11-5. I could honestly see them going 12-4, but I'll stick with 11-5. I'll be a little bit on the safe side here. But I say the Atlanta Falcons are going to be right back in the playoff, definitely either as a wild card if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really surprise a lot of people, which I think Tampa Bay could possibly leapfrog over the Falcons, but more realistically, I think the Atlanta Falcons will win the NFC South for a second year and go back to the playoffs. But once again, my name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media, Twitter at Winstreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinstreak, TheWinstreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, almost any of the podcast platforms out there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Production. If you're listening on YouTube right now, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think the Atlanta Falcons are going to do this year. Contact us at soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our fantasy football league. That you can find out more information about that on our Facebook and also on thewinstreak.com. And top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now up, so please check that out as well. Once again, check out our weekly show that we do. We're on episode 28. They're a lot of fun. Me and my co-host Brandon Myers, we talk about anything. We read your comments live on the air. So please check it out, and please drop us a question or a comment. We would love to hear from our listeners. But until next time, good luck, Atlanta Falcons fans. You totally deserve a Super Bowl after all the hell that you've been to. And also, keep winning, everybody.